Hello, my name is Sarah Jones. I am currently teaching kindergarten through 6th grade health and physical education in Hempfield School District located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I have also taught grades 6 through 8 health and PE. My building hosts the Life Skills program for the district, which means I teach students in inclusion and adapted physical education a variety of disabilities. There are 7 total elementary schools in Hempfield School District, and about 6 years ago, the 7 elementary teachers created our own curriculum. We do administer the PACER run, which is one element of the FitnessGram health-related fitness assessment tools. The test battery that I chose to focus on is the FitnessGram for elementary students with Down syndrome in the elementary settings, grades kindergarten through 6th. The FitnessGram is a non-competitive, health-related fitness assessment based on the Healthy Fitness Zone standards. It was originally intended to help schools evaluate and evolve their physical education program, but it is merged into a program that provides data to understand and make positive health changes. FitnessGram measures level of fitness for good overall health and supports students in understanding the relationships between health and fitness by identifying their fitness levels. Unfortunately, I do not have full access to all of the FitnessGram program as my district is not a paying member of the product. I have pulled the majority of my research from the FitnessGram and the Cooper Institute websites, as well as the California Department of Education, as they use the FitnessGram exclusively as their physical fitness test. If you use the Cooper Institute website like I have, you will too have found that each element of the test has a short video explaining the significance behind each element of health-related fitness that is assessed. The FitnessGram test battery assesses the following health-related fitness components: aerobic capacity, body composition, muscular strength, endurance, and flexibility. Each of the fitness tests performed is evaluated using criterion reference standards rather than percentile norms. These are called the Healthy Fitness Zone standards. The standards are based on the level of fitness for good health, and they vary across genders and age. The standards are categorized into 2 zones: the Healthy Fitness Zone and the Needs Improvement Zone, with the ultimate goal to land within the Healthy Fitness Zone. The Needs Improvement Zone identifies that there's potential for future health risks. This means potential, not probable. There's one more category, the Needs Improvement Health Risk Zone, which will indicate if a student has a more evident potential for a future health risk. The Healthy Fitness Zone standards are from the California Department of Education, describing the fitness zones for each assessment. I mentioned earlier not having complete access to the paid FitnessGram product, so this was the best and most detailed breakdown of the Healthy Fitness Zones that I could find. Notice that each element is broken down by gender and age. Remember, the scores listed are for the Healthy Fitness Zone, and it's encouraged for students to set higher goals based on their personal skill levels. I included the PDF for this in the email with my presentation link. I found it's easier to see if you have this maybe printed out or on a second device beside you while you watch the rest of the presentation. I highly suggest having it viewable. Please feel free to refer back to it during the presentation, as I'll refer to the overall age ranges of 5 to 12 for both males and females in the presentation. Before I dive in more to the test battery, disability, and modifications, I think it's important to address one position statement put out by FitnessGram and the Cooper Institute. There is appropriate and inappropriate use of fitness testing data, where the statement aims to remind that the purpose of using the test battery is to promote lifelong physical activity and attainment of health-related physical fitness. They use the HELP philosophy, which stands for health is for everyone for a lifetime and it's personal. While appropriate uses include using the test battery for teaching and evaluating, inappropriate uses include evaluating and grading performance, using the tests as criterion to justify testing out of physical education, or evaluating teacher effectiveness like a teacher evaluation. I highlight this position statement because I've seen the FitnessGram test battery used as a grade, and I do not believe this to be effective. Certainly, the goal of educators should be to guide students in personal goal setting, fitness data tracking, evaluating current level of fitness using the healthy fitness zones, followed by more goal setting. As I mentioned before, my district does complete the PACER run at the elementary level. I also included the push-up and the curl-up assessment in mine at my elementary school. I have the students keep track during the year of their data. They set goals at the beginning of the year, and then they set new goals after each completion of the fitness tests. They also complete a reflection at the end of the year. The ultimate goal at this age is to introduce them to different methods to measure their personal fitness, identify activities in which they can improve their physical fitness, and set realistic goals to experience growth. Down syndrome occurs when an individual has full or partial extra copy of chromosome 21. This is a genetic material change that affects the course of development and therefore causes different characteristics. The current trend in education is towards full inclusion. They are active participants in all aspects of education and recreation. Some of the specific characteristics of students with Down syndrome include low muscle tone, small stature, upward slant to the eyes, and a single deep crease across the center of the palm. Individuals with Down syndrome possess cognitive delays that vary in severity, with most having cognitive delays that are more mild to moderate. Students with Down syndrome can participate in most forms of physical activity. The physical characteristics most related to exercise include muscular hypotonicity, which means that the muscles can stretch beyond normal limits. Hypermobility of the joints, or ligamentous laxity, again describing increased flexibility in their joints, which increases the risk for subluxation and or dislocation. Mild to moderate obesity, underdeveloped respiratory and cardiovascular systems, short stature, specifically the legs and the arms in relation to the torso, poor balance and perceptual difficulties. In addition to these characteristics, it's important to consider other medical factors and discuss these with the other care providers for the student. Children with Down syndrome have been noted to participate in less physical activity than other children, which, as with any individual, can then result in overweight or obesity. Analyzing barriers to participating in physical activities is a good start, but ultimately facilitating exercise is going to benefit the student with Down syndrome, or any student for that matter. The following components should be particularly included in an exercise program for students with Down syndrome: muscle strengthening for all parts of the body, cardiovascular exercise. Even though the response to exercise is being studied, the benefits are apparent regardless. Cardiovascular exercise contributes to the ease of walking without breaks, as well as more strenuous activities such as climbing a hill or stairs, and improved performance in sport-related activities. Start slowly and introduce exercise and gradually increase over time. Balance activities are also helpful to improving skills and mobility. In the following slides, I will identify and describe each element of the FitnessGram battery, the tests utilized to measure and evaluate, and modifications specific to elementary students with Down syndrome. The FitnessGram test battery does not need to be completed in its entirety. In fact, it's recommended to pick and choose various elements and tests to administer and not all of them. It's recommended that certified physical education teachers administer the FitnessGram and first review the test protocols in the manual. For the critical thinking activity, I would like for you to take a moment to list potential modifications or adaptations for each test and achieve age-appropriate skill level. You can stop and do this now or pause between each new element before each new element is introduced. I've provided a handout for brainstorming and recording your ideas and suggestions. The handout is entitled FitnessGram Modifications, Adaptations, Down Syndrome. Most of my adaptations and modifications are from the Everyone Can textbook and a PDF I came across, actually prepared by Martin Block for Augusta County Public Schools. I've included videos of the pacer run, push-up, and curl-up tests, as these are 3 of the assessments that I complete in my physical education classroom. The handout was provided to you in the email with the presentation link. Aerobic capacity is measured using estimated VO2 max, which is the maximal oxygen uptake. VO2 max reflects the maximum rate that the respiratory, cardiovascular, and muscular systems can take in, transport, and use oxygen during exercise. The FitnessGram field tests used to assess aerobic capacity include the pacer run, which stands for Progressive Aerobic Capacity Endurance Run, the 1-mile run, and the walk test.
Occurs when the student does not touch the line by the sound of the beat. The pacer CD is set to music. The CD includes a 5-second countdown and tells the students when to start. Students begin the test running across the distance and touching the line with their foot before the sound of the beat. Walking is allowed so long as the desired pace is maintained. At the sound of the beat, students run back to the other end. A student who touches the line on the sound of the beep must immediately turn and run back to the other end. A single beep sounds at the end of each lap. The audio CD also provides a verbal cue to track the number of laps completed. A triple beep sounds at the end of each minute. The triple beep serves the same function as a single beep, but it also alerts the students that the pace will get faster.
That video was a segment of the pacer run to demonstrate appropriate performance. Test specifics for the FitnessGram aerobic capacity tests include that the aerobic capacity test is only for students ages 10 for the 1-mile run and the 20-meter pacer run test, and then age 13 for the walk test. For the 1-mile run, students are instructed to run the mile as fast as possible. The time is recorded in minutes and seconds, but they're not allowed to take any longer than 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The 20-meter pacer run starts out easy and progressively becomes more difficult. Students run for as long as possible across the distance at a set pace. The walk test is simply walking the 1 mile as fast as possible and then measuring the heart rate. VO2 max for each of the tests is determined by a formula involving gender, time, and BMI, with students ages 10 to 12 expected to score at or greater than 40.1 VO2 max for the healthy fitness zone. Administration tips include preparing beforehand with instructions and practice for pacing and heart rate monitoring techniques. Be sure to provide adequate time for warm-up and cool-down. Lastly, perform the test on days where the environment is suitable. For example, do not administer the test in high temperatures or humidity or high winds. Potential modifications include first determining which aerobic capacity test to complete. While it would be nice to allow student choice in this, curricular and scheduling conflicts may not allow multiple tests to be completed. Be aware that students with Down syndrome typically have a lower than usual maximum heart rate for their age, and the goals will need to be adjusted. General modifications include shortening the distance or modifying the time, use verbal cues like run, stop, faster now, etc. Provide additional demonstration or modeling. They can run with a partner to keep the cadence and be encouraged, or you can assist in setting individual goals that are not necessarily in line with the Healthy Fitness Zone standards, but be sure to make them challenging but realistic. Specifically for the pacer run, students do not need to follow the cadence. They could go one lap and then wait for their peers to return and rejoin them, or they can walk one lap and then run one lap. For the 1 mile walk or the run test, students can run a segment and then walk a segment. They may have smaller targets, such as cones, that they run to and rest before running again, or they can hold a bean bag and drop it in buckets set up incrementally across the course. Body composition evaluates the total body weight in categories of fat and fat-free, like your bones and muscles. The purpose of evaluating this is to educate students and parents about appropriate levels of body composition. 2 tests are provided to assess body composition: body fat percentage, using skin fold and or a bioelectrical impedance analyzer, or BIA, and the body mass index, BMI. Most often, BMI is calculated due to the practical application in schools compared to a skin fold assessment. It's important to note that BMI does not directly measure the amount of fat, but it does help to identify health risk in relation to body weight compared to the height, age, and gender. This test begins at age 5. Test specifics include the Healthy Fitness Zone percentage of body fat for ages 5 through 12 to be no higher than 20.8 through 26.7 for females, and 18.8 through 23.6 for males. Utilizing BMI for body composition sets the Healthy Fitness Zone ranges for ages 5 to 12 for females between a maximum of 16.8 to 22, and males between 16.8 to 21.3. Administration tips include maintaining privacy with measuring height and or weight and reporting results. Be sure the examiner has practiced taking the skin fold measurements if you are utilizing that test, and try to have the same examiner administer the skin fold test to all students. There are no necessary modifications for this test. Muscular strength, endurance, and flexibility are measured together throughout 7 different tests. The purpose of evaluating these elements are because a person with musculoskeletal fitness will perform daily activities more easily, reduce the risk of injury, and improve abdominal and back health. Muscular strength is the maximal force you can exert in a single effort. Muscular endurance is the ability to maintain and repeat a muscular activity over time. Flexibility is the range of motion of muscles at the joint. General modifications include having a partner encourage and reinforce, and setting individual goals that are challenging but realistic. Abdominal strength and endurance is measured in the curl-up test. I have clipped a segment of a video of the curl-up test to demonstrate appropriate performance.
Begin. Up, down, 1, up, down, 2.
Movement should start with a slow curling up of the upper spine.
Up, down, 4, up.
The fingers should slide across the measuring strip
Up,
until the fingertips reach the other edge of the strip.
up,
The student then slowly curls back down until the head touches the mat.
down, 8.
Heels should be kept in contact with the mat at all times, and movement should be slow and continuous.
Down.
The protocol is quite different from the familiar and fast-paced sit-ups.
Test specifics include completing as many curl-ups as possible to a max of 75 at a specific pace or cadence. The students lie on their back, bend their knees, keep their feet flat on the mat, and their hands laying palm down beside them. They sit up, slide their fingers on the floor, cross a measuring strip, and curl back down until their head touches the mat. Students ages 5 through 12 should be able to complete 2 to 18 curl-ups for females and for males. Administration tips include allowing demonstration and practice, encouraging rhythmical and continuous movements, no pauses or rest periods, and repositioning of the body if they slide or move out of position. Potential modifications include completing the test without the cadence, physical assistance and demonstration, include visual and or tactile cues for where the hands start and end, do a reverse sit-up where students start sitting up, then fall back down to the mat, then sit back up, allow students to hold on to knees and lean back and forth, hold the student's hands or hold a stick to assist, use an inclined wedge or mats to make it easier to sit up, use short and succinct instructions like up and down, stabilize the lower limbs by holding their feet or strap the hips to keep them in position. The trunk extensor strength and flexibility is measured in the trunk lift. Test specifics include the student lying face down on a mat while slowly lifting the upper body off of the floor using their back muscles to a maximum of 12 inches. They need to hold the position for measurement. The average number of inches for the healthy fitness zone for both males and females ages 5 to 9 is 6 to 12 inches, and ages 10 and 12 is 9 to 12 inches. Administration tips include reminding students not to bounce, provide a spot on the floor for students to visually focus on to keep the head in the proper position, and do not lift higher than 12 inches. Potential modifications include physically assisting while demonstrating correct form or steps, have visual or tactile cues to assist in lifting the arms and legs correctly, and hold for a count of 2, rest, and repeat. The 90-degree push-up, I've clipped a segment of a video of the push-up test to demonstrate appropriate performance.
Begin
The
push-up
back should be
session.
kept in a straight line
Ready.
from head to toes
Begin.
throughout the test.
Down, up, 1, down, up, 2.
The student performs the push-up up to the cadence of 1 push-up every 3 seconds by following the voice commands for down, up.
Up,
The
5,
student is permitted.
Test specifics include the student completing as many push-ups as possible with the cadence for a maximum of 75. Healthy fitness zones for males and females ages 5 and 6 should be able to complete 3, age 7 complete 4, age 8 complete 5, age 9 complete 6, and age 10 complete 7. Age 11 and 12 females complete 7, and age 11 males complete 8, while age 12 males complete 10. Administration tips include demonstrating and practicing the correct push-up form, and both males and females following the same protocol. Potential modifications include placing an object under the student so the distance is shorter. Do a reverse push-up where you start in up position and slowly go down and then repeat. Place an object on their back to give the feeling to help keep a straight back. Put marks on the floor for correct hand positioning. Practice on a wall to get correct straight back technique. Do a modified push-up from the knees. Use short and succinct instructions like up, down, and straight. The modified pull-up test specifics include completing as many modified pull-ups as possible. They lie on their backs under a bar, grasp the bar, and pull up until the chin reaches the required level. For healthy fitness zones, males and females score the same. For age 5 and 6, they should do 2. Age 7 should do 3. Age 8 through 12 females should do 4. Age 8 males should do 4. Age 9 and 10 males should do 5. Age 11 males should do 6. And age 12 males should do 7. Administration tips include students should only use their arms and keep their bodies straight while maintaining rhythmical and continuous movement. Potential modifications include physically assisting the student to get a feel for what is expected, allow them to hang for 1 to 2 seconds and then rest. Use a chair underneath them to stand on. Use short and succinct instructions like pull with your arm. The flexed arm hang test specifics include hanging by the arms with their chin above the bar for as long as possible and record the time in seconds. For healthy fitness zones, males and females score the same for age 5 and 6. They should do 2 seconds. Ages 7 and 8 should do 3 seconds. Ages 9 and 10 should do 4 seconds. Age 11 should do 6 seconds. Age 12 females should do 7 seconds. And age 12 males should do 10 seconds. Administration tips include not swinging and only performing one trial. Potential modifications include physically assisting the student to hold the position, allow them to hang 1 to 2 seconds, then rest and repeat, hang while standing on a chair with bent knees, allow a straight arm hang for as long as possible. The back saver sit and reach test specifics include reaching the specific distance in the left and right side of the body by extending 1 foot forward. For the healthy fitness zone, females ages 5 through 10 should aim to reach 9 inches, and females ages 11 and 12 should aim to reach 10 inches. Males ages 5 through 12 should aim to reach 8 inches. Administration tips include keeping the extended legs knee straight, and you may hold one hand on their knee to remind them. Hips remain square to the box, and the maximum reach allowed is 12 inches. Potential modifications include physically assist, start with easy task for success like the knees, and then move farther down the leg. Use short and succinct instructions and keywords like leg straight and reach. The shoulder stretch test specifics include touching the fingertips together behind the back with one hand reaching over the shoulder and one under the elbow. All ages and genders should reach and touch fingertips for both shoulders to be in the healthy fitness zone. Administration tips include testing both shoulders. Potential modifications include physically assisting, starting with an easier task for success, such as just bringing their arm up, hold for shorter lengths of time, such as 1 to 2 seconds, and then resting and repeating. Put tape marks on the back as a tactile cue. In conclusion, it is important to remember 2 critical elements. First, the FitnessGram is mainly intended to assist teachers in guiding students to setting realistic personal fitness goals. You do not have to administer all of the fitness tests. Second, all disabilities are different, as is each individual person with a disability, and the same could be said for any student regardless of any disability or IEP. When administering the fitness tests, the suggested accommodations and modifications may or may not be necessary. You will have to work specifically with the student and any specifics in their medical concerns or IEP. Lastly, what works one time may not necessarily continue to work as the student progresses through elementary school. One of my favorite things about teaching kindergarten through 6th grade physical education is that I get to work with the students for a large chunk of time, watch them grow, and guide them through progression of skills. You will have to continually evaluate, assess, and remediate modifications and accommodations for each year. I hope you found some helpful information and resources for administrating the FitnessGram battery of tests for the student with Down syndrome in your elementary physical education classroom.